I've found that the way to touch other people's lives is to let them know that you aren't perfect. I'll tell you what I experienced. I started into ministry when I was 19 years old. In ministry, you want to not let people see you be human. You want to have a certain standard and act a certain way and look a certain way. You just want to look like you got it all together. When you are on Facebook, everything is perfect. There's this one girl, and I swear to goodness, she's absolutely stunning, but I have never seen a picture of her with her hair out of place, with her house out of place. It always looks like complete perfection. It is so perfect, it's not really like that. And, in ministry, that's how I kind of became. I didn't want people to think, well, I didn't have it all together. I was there to help them, all these things. And as time went on, that is hard to keep up because none of us are perfect. How does this relate to BodBabes? So you guys know that I've had water leak on May 5th. This is May 20th. And still my floors are all tore up in the kitchen, and the countertops are tore up. The kitchen stove is out. There's no electric. There is lighting, but there's no electric on the walls and in the floors. There's no water. So now we're going on all these days from the 5th to the 20th, and it's going to continue. So, and then our sewer backed up into our basement. And then 5 minutes or less later, we had lots of tornado stuff going on today. Let me see if oh my. Okay, so here we go again. So, as I said, things are a little crazy. I was thinking today, I was like, I am just so stressed out. Everything just seems to be woof up in the air, and it's just been crazy around here. And I thought I would share that because I want to let you know that my life isn't perfect either. And I think so many of you think that Allie just must have her diet all together and must have her workouts all together. And I want to tell you, I don't. I don't. But the difference is between me now and me back then was I would have just given up and just said, I can't do it. Here's one thing that I've changed, and I've talked to you all about this a lot, is the diet mentality. I'm going to go on a diet, and then I'm going to go off a diet. See, I've changed to the lifestyle mentality. This is my life, and I wouldn't have it any other way. One of my clients, one of the BodBabes ladies on a call today, said something that a lot of you have said. My family thinks that I'm being overly restrictive, and here's my answer to that. You're eating how you were created to eat. What we consider normal diet right now is processed chemicals. That is not the food that all of time, all of human existence that we have eaten. Normal is not that. That is abnormal. That is abnormal behavior that makes us sick and ill. So us going back to thinking that us eating real food is a diet is wrong. That's untrue. That's not restrictive. That is how we were made to eat. That's some real truth. And don't be ashamed of that. Don't be embarrassed of that. That's how all of humanity ate before 100 years ago. How long have humans been around? I'm not going to preach on that anymore. But let's be honest. Our way of thinking how normal we should eat today is off. That's what's off, not you eating vegetables and meats and fruits. That's not wrong. That's right. That's not a diet. That's called eating what you're supposed to eat. Just like cows eat grass. When you're on BodBabes and you start letting go of the processed food, you're eating what you were created to eat. exactly what you were created to eat. And when you don't eat the right thing, you get sick. If cows quit eating grass and they try to eat something else that we even might think is healthy, like a piece of steak, they're going to get sick. They're not going to survive. We have to eat what we were created to eat. We have to put the right fuel. It's like if you pull up to a pump and you don't have a diesel car and you put diesel fuel in your non-diesel car, you aren't going anywhere. You'll be lucky if you get out of the parking lot. Now, our bodies fight and they're resilient, but I want you to remember that. And now let's go into the rest of it because that matters. So when I say all heck can break loose, we want to say, I can't do a diet right now. We're not doing a diet. We're doing a lifestyle. And why do we make these excuses to throw all this trash in our trap? We do. And we think it's justified. I just can't do that right now. And we're overwhelmed by learning about our foods when we're just learning how to eat. I had another client tell me today, I'm learning how to eat for the first time in my life. She's in her 50s. I learned how to eat in my 50s too. I was taught wrong. We're course correcting, and it's changing my life. And so, in the middle of this journey, I have not been perfect. As a matter of fact, that scripture came to me today is not to grow weary in well doing. And I thought, how in the heck do you not grow weary in well doing? I can do things well and just follow my diet and do it. I just get tired. I just get tired of working out sometimes. I love it, but I also get tired just like you guys. Did you know that? I don't think some of you realize that I too get tired of keeping on track. I do. It would just be easier in today's society just to eat trash. It'd just be easier to sit around and watch the boob tube and not go to the gym. I'm tired. I run a business and all the other stuff that I do. I understand it 100%. Getting weary in well doing. But the Bible says not to grow weary in well doing. And I know I'm not a preacher, so I'm not preaching the word to you tonight, but it is true. We grow weary in well doing. So, how do we not grow weary? How do we not do that? How do we avoid that? Well, we can't avoid that. It is going to happen. We have to expect it, but we need to expect it that we're going to get tired even while doing good. That eating right and going to the gym, we're not going to feel like it a lot of days. And we're going to be weary and we're not going to want to do it. And guess what? Don't let that shock you. Don't let that shock you that you don't want to do it sometimes. That's normal. There's nothing wrong with you. It doesn't mean you're weak. We all get weary and tired, and especially when things happen in our lives. We get tired and we aren't perfect, and you're not going to be perfect. And don't expect yourself to be perfect because it's not going to happen. I'm not perfect. I don't know any person in this world that is perfect with their diet, with their exercise, with any part of their life. So you're not going to be perfect, and it's not going to be an easy journey. We can sit back on our laurels and not do anything about it and say, well, it's just easier not to do anything. I'm just going to be like most the other Americans, and I'm just going to sit back and not give a bleep. And I will tell you, that's hard too. That is really hard. Acting like you're weak, you have no power over your life and the health of your body, giving up on oneself, that is letting your confidence drop, feeling bad in your own skin, that's hard too. You think this is hard? I'll tell you what, I won't go back to that hard. I have women tell me, I had a woman today say, I can't do it. I'm much under too much stress. Well, the last thing you need to do is throw a bunch of crap in your trap. Because guess what? Your body's going to be under more stress. We just want to justify how we abuse our bodies because it's inconvenient to be healthy. Ooh, Boy, I am preaching tonight. But that's truth. And no one wants to hear the truth. They think I'm the radical one when I am not the radical one. I'm the sane one. I'm being sane. This is sanity. Expect the tired times to come. Expect the times to come when you say, I don't want to do this. I just want to eat Cheetos, or I just want to eat Pop Tarts, or I just want to eat a Big Mac, or I just want to eat a big old pile of nasty spaghetti with all the crap on top. Listen to me. You're human, but find your way. You're going to grow weary and you're going to say, I can't do this, but you can. You need to believe in yourself. You need to trust yourself again. Build trust in yourself again. You have to rebuild that confidence. You know what that means? That means you keep your word to yourself. You know, I have had women that come on to BodBabes and they sign up, they pay the money, they do their consultation call, and before they do one single thing, they check out, continue to pay me, and don't do one single thing. They're checked out mentally. Why? Man, I just keep trying to make it more simple. Well, the app just looks overwhelming to me. Well, darn it. I have doctors on here that have about this much time. I've got nurses that have about this much time. I've got teachers. We're wrapping up their last week of school, and guess how much time they got? Like this much time. But see, they're doing it anyway because it's a lifestyle and they want to change their life. And so many of us are afraid of failure that we avoid something. And guess what that is? Failure. That's more failure. Well, I don't want to do that. I just don't think I can do that. I'm just going to fail again. I'm not even going to try for myself. Well, guess what that is? That right there is failure. That is failure. Not trying for yourself, not trusting yourself to learn something so small that can change your life. I have 70-year-old women on here learning how to run an app, and it changes their life. And you're going to check out before you even get started. Fight for yourself more than that. Believe in yourself more than that. Build confidence in yourself. When you say you're going to do something for yourself, you do it. Not just for everybody else. You're going to do it for your church, for your family, for your friend, for your mom, for your kids, for your workplace. You're going to do it for your neighbor you don't even like. You're going to do for somebody at church you don't even like at all, and they don't like you, but you're going to keep your word to them, and you're going to not keep your word to you. And you're going to break your own promises and you're going to give up on yourself. And it's time to stop that mess. Life is too short. All of us here at BodBabes are over 40. That means most likely half or more than half of our life is gone. And we still don't have it. We still don't have that we need to take care of ourselves. If you don't take care of you, honey, nobody else is. And if you don't take care of you, if you can't put the right food in your own mouth, then you need to adjust your priorities. If you cannot literally put the right food in your own mouth, you need to adjust your priorities and you need to adjust your thinking. And that makes people mad and that sounds hard, but that is the damn truth. If my baby goes to put something in its mouth, I'm going to knock it out of its hand and say, don't eat that. It's going to make you sick. And I've got women with type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, all this stuff, high cholesterol. And I just don't feel like it, Allie. You better fight for yourself. You better knock that crap off and take care of yourself. What is wrong? Quit that. You deserve better, a better life than that. And it's not out of your hands. It's right here in your hands. 80% of all disease comes from what we shovel and put in our traps. That's truth. And we just keep shoveling it in. And I don't want to be depriving to myself. It's not depriving, honey. It's having respect for yourself. It's having respect. Fight for yourself. Give your body what it needs to for your skin to start looking good, for your energy to come back, for your cholesterol to come down, so that you don't have to take metformin for type 2 diabetes, because you can reverse that. I have an acquaintance I went to school with, type 2 diabetes. That's the kind that you can reverse. And you know what she did? She goes in to have her toes removed at the hospital. Toes removed, black. Shows a picture of it on Facebook and asks her husband to stop at the ice cream shop to pick up a bubble, which in Ohio, in my hometown of Jackson, Ohio, you have ice cream with marshmallow cream on top. It also has chocolate on top, and it has nuts on top of that. It is the sweetest ice cream I've ever had in my entire life. And she truly, honestly asked him to bring her one to the hospital so she could eat it. And she just keeps doing it to herself. That's the extreme. I want you to see the extreme of that. We aren't that here. Thank God we don't have anybody like that here that I know of. That is extreme. That is addiction. That is abusing her body. And her body is just shutting down and being destroyed. And we want to fight for that. You know, I've had relatives fight me to eat junk. They want me to quit eating so healthy. Why are you eating that? Why are you eating like that? Why are you so concerned about what you're eating? Because I got one life. That's why. All that said, ladies, expect the hard times to come when you don't want to do it. And when you say, how long am I going to have to do this? For the rest of your life. Get used to it. For the rest of your life, if you want to be healthy. Do you think you're going to get to your goal and magically you can just let all off all the restraints? Have you tried that before? Because I have. I have got to my goal. And then I thought, what do I do after I get to my goal? Well, you don't let go, dummy. That's what I did. I'm a dummy. I let go. Well, I can just, I'm going to have a Snicker bar. And it didn't show up real quick. But all of a sudden I looked in the mirror and I'm like, well, what in the world happened to me? I looked so good. How did I get here? Oh, wait a minute. It was all that ice cream at night watching TV. Big old bowls of chocolate Hershey syrup, ice cream with Hershey syrup on top. And girl, I ain't going to just put a little Hershey syrup. It's going to be ice cream's going to be floating in that Hershey syrup. That's how I messed up. So yeah, you're going to be doing this the rest of your life. But baby, you're worth it. You're worth the fight. But you got to get the right mental attitude. Hard times are going to come. It's not easy being exceptional and different. It's not. To be an exceptional woman over the age of 40, it's going to require you some freaking work. And it's going to be hard. But so is sitting back and just letting life happen to you. It is. That's hard. That's a hard I can't live with. Right here at BodBabes, I'll tell you what we are at BodBabes. We're fighters. We've been through some stuff. And we're probably going to go through some more stuff. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to survive and we're going to thrive. And that's what we do at BodBabes. We get up off our duff. And yeah, you might have knocked us down and I might have got the wind taken out of me for a minute. But that's all right, because I'm coming back. And I will come back. And that's what we are at BodBabes. At BodBabes, we are fighters. We believe in ourselves. We build that belief in ourselves. We build that strength. It's just like we go in the gym. Man, I remember when I tried to curl 15 pounds and I thought, whoa, that is way too heavy. I'll never curl 15 pounds. There is no way. And I will tell you this, how did I get stronger? with the resistance and I kept pushing against it. I kept fighting against it, fighting against the resistance. It was hard. It broke my muscles down. It made my muscles sore. That's how it is in life. It will break you down, but that can break you down and make you stronger if you just keep going and you just keep fighting and you just keep trusting the process. And you know that if you just keep doing what you're supposed to do, that you're going to get there and you're going to be better and you're going to be different. And that's why getting there doesn't just change our bodies, ladies. This journey changes our minds. I have women at BodBabes who said, I was shooting too low for a man. My standards have raised. I realized I deserve better than that. Good for you. You know what, Ellie? I didn't believe in myself, and I thought at this age I could never go back to school. And guess what I did? I signed up for college. Good for you. That's awesome. I might be the oldest one in the class, she said. And she was. And you know what? She flipped it. She's an example. She's showing those younger kids that they can do it. It doesn't matter what life gives you or brings you. She's sitting right there, a shining example of a fighter, a woman who never gave up. She's not going to give up. She might have gave up in the past, but she's coming back. She's a fighter. That's what this is about. You're fighting for you. So expect the bad times to come. And if they're here right now, I've been hearing so many of you say, oh, it's awful. I just can't. I just got to give up. I just got to quit. I just got. No, now's when you got to catch your breath. It hit you and it's bad. You should have expected it. Always expect it. It's always coming. Catch your breath. It's okay. You might feel weak, but you're not weak. You're a fighter. Get your breath. And sometimes I'll tell you what, I've just barely been hanging on. White knuckling it, holding on is all I can do. I have been there, and I know some of you have been there. You just keep holding on. I remember there's a song I wrote years ago, and I really felt it when I wrote it about falling down. I had been to the park and I saw this mama, her baby fell down and she went running, yanked that baby up by one arm and just started, checking its knees and dusting its knees off. And I remember thinking, wow. And that baby cried for a minute and she hugged it. And then she said, go on, go play. Just go back to it. It's all right. You're going to be all right. And that's what I'm saying to you today. Get up, dust off those knees. You fell, but it's not done. Get back up and keep moving forward. You can do this. This is a small thing. It looks like a big thing. Sometimes we make a mountain out of a molehill. We look at it. I could never do that. I can never be that. I couldn't. You can. Quit magnifying something and make it into something that it's not. It's more simple than you think. It really is. So that's all I got tonight, ladies. I hope you realize this is my heart, but I'm in the trenches with you. I've been there. I understand it. And if you ever just need a friend, I'm not just your coach. I'm your friend. I'll sit and listen. You can cuss me. You can cuss somebody else and I'll listen and I'll give you an amen. I'll be your amen corner. And whatever you need, I'm here. That's what we do. You know, we got to be here for each other. Because I'll tell you, not everybody understands this journey because there's not a lot of people on this journey, not a lot of women our age on this journey. But that just doesn't make you weird. That just makes you special. Girl, hold your head high. Be proud of yourself. You're different, a good different, a real good different.